Glad to be here.
Well, just how was your first practice?
Boy, I tell you what, it was a lot of fun. Really exciting. One thing I noticed right off, man, we got a great group of guys. Our players are just really seem to be first-class guys, and I think that's attributed to what Coach Graham's kind of got going here. These guys are really respectful. They've made this transition really easy. Basically took me in and made me feel really at home. So it was a lot of fun. The biggest thing for me today was making sure I didn't get run over, stand in the wrong place, and all that kind of stuff. Things are a little different. But, man, it was a great first day for us, and, I'm really excited to be here.
What was the process like talking to Coach Graham and then coming to the decision you made?
Yeah, it was a really fast process. That's the biggest thing I'd say. For me, though, this was when this thing started and I got a chance to talk with Coach, it was just a great opportunity. And one of those deals that I felt like, I want to get on this as quick as I can, and I probably recruited him as hard as anything, because I want to be here. It's a great place. I'm very familiar with him from my time working with, other guys that he's been around. So I knew a lot about him, knew what he's about as a person and about a man, and I think that made this transition a lot easier. Like I said, I'm excited to be here.
Does it make it easy that the style that you're in Southern Mississippi is really carbon copy?
Yeah, no doubt. it makes this transition really somewhat seamless. It's just, there's obviously some little things here and there, but the biggest thing for me, it was a chance to go to Auburn and work with Coach Malzahn and learn this sort of terminology of the way we did things, and that's what I think I'm excited about. Yeah, it's a new job and new people, a lot of new faces, but overall, I expect this thing to be a pretty seamless transition, and then being here for ball practice to me is a huge advantage. It's like a second spring ball and a chance to get to know these guys. So when we go to spring ball, they already know who I am.
Talk about some of the offensive weapons that you see out there, just your first day.
Probably better with numbers than I am names right now, if I had to be honest with you. But I think there's the recruiting. They've really done, I think, a good job here. We got some good-looking kids, but to me, the biggest thing I see is their attitude. It's a coach attitude. They're very attentive. They look you in the eye. You talk to them. They respond to you. And I'm just a guy that basically walked in off the street yesterday to them. Although hopefully they've read a little bit and excited that I'm here, but at the end of the day, I'm a new face and a new voice, and the way they've handled this thing has made it really exciting.
What are you looking for out of these guys for the future?
I think right now, really, I just want, like I said, that attitude of coach me up, and I want to learn, and attentiveness, and all the little things that go. Plays are plays. It's not about plays. It's about executing the right plays. And I think these guys here seem to have that attitude, and I think that's what I'm looking for, as we move forward through bowl practice and into spring ball, is just building a relationship with these guys. Because the number one thing you got to do is build relationships with people. You got to win over the players before you win any games. I think that's important.
Because they're going to be starting next year with a new quarterback. Is the timing good for you in that sense?
Yeah, well, I think so. I wish Burke was back. He's a great kid. I learned that first off. He made a lot of plays here, and I think that's exciting. We go into spring ball. We got 3 kids that are here now that are really excited about competing. They're all showing. They're all very talented. A little different skill set. Some of them, I'd say they're very similar in some ways, but a couple of them, do some things a little different than others. Just from one day, that's the best thing I can say so far. But all very talented and all very smart, and I think that's important.
What are your strengths as a recruiter?
My strengths as a recruiter, I think, are just being honest and building relationships. The guys that I've had success recruiting are guys that are the type of people we want in our program, and the guys that want to be at a place and be disciplined and be coached, and I think that's the biggest thing in recruiting these days is, you want to make sure that you recruit the right guys, and I think if we recruit the right guys and they're about the right things, and I think we'll get good players.
The explosive plays that you've been able to have at Southern Miss, that kind of a trademark that you want to continue?
Well, you hope so. It'd be nice to bring all those with us, and have the same deal. But I think it's a tribute to the recruiting job our staff did there at Southern Miss. Coach Todd Monken came there and really inherited a program that needed a major facelift, and he did that. And he did it a lot of the same ways that Coach Graham does it, with discipline and retooling kind of the type of people we had, and good players. And good players make coaches look good. And we did a lot of recruiting hard the last 2 years before, and those guys have now played a little bit. So it made a difference this year. The guys stepped up and made a lot of plays.
What stood out to you so far just about the campus, the facilities and whatnot?
It's just beautiful, man. This campus is with the renovations that are going on and all the hard work that's gone into to raising money and doing the things that you got to do to build great facilities, because that's what college football and recruiting is about. Having really good facilities. It's been really a neat thing, because growing up and living mostly in the South, it's a little different, obviously, from the standpoint of just the landscape and everything. I think this is one of the top places in the country. I mean, the sky's the limit here, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
What do you think the biggest difference is between coaching a Power 5 conference team and a non-Power 5 like you did in Southern Miss?
I don't know. I've spent a year at Auburn, and Troy was probably along the same line as Southern Miss. To me, coaching's coaching. Once you cross the lines and you're out there coaching kids, I think it's the same. I mean, I was a head coach in high school and an assistant in high school, and that's no different. I think the biggest thing for us is it's just going to be a thing where our guys have got to get used to me, and me get used to them, and that's at any level. But I don't see a huge difference.
Do you feel like there's some significant input that you can provide going into the bowl game here?
I think so. I'm really focused on coaching the quarterbacks and building a relationship with those guys. The thing that's in place here is this offense has been really good before. So I mean, if you look back at the history, like you say, it's probably the most prolific offense since 2007. It's been in college football. When you look at Tulsa and Auburn and here and different places that the guys that have been a part of this offense have been. So for me, it's just trying to continue that here and build on what's already, the foundation's already here. And when spring ball gets here, there'll be maybe a wrinkle or two here and there, but we're gonna build our offense around our players. Our tight ends are gonna catch balls, our running backs are gonna run the ball, and wideouts are gonna catch balls, and our quarterback, we're gonna cater it to the guy that plays. If he's an athletic guy, we'll build the offense around him. If he's Coach Brown's proven that at Tulsa and